Today, Thursday, is the deadline for President Trump's administration to reunite migrant children with their families. That's the nearly 2,500 children who were taken away to be detained separately after arriving together with their families at the US-Mexico border. As you may remember, the president's original policy caused an outcry and he reversed it. A judge ruled that reunions must be completed by today. Well, we want to talk about the reunion efforts with lawyer Andrea Saenz at Brooklyn Defender Services, which is a non-profit immigration practice in New York. Andrea, thank you for being with us and thank you for your patience as we took our breaking news there. What are you seeing in terms of families, parents, grandparents who are still trying to reach their children?
Yes, well, what we're seeing is a lot of chaos and a lot of people who don't know when they're going to be reunified. And then when they are reunified, really don't have support unless lawyers and volunteers come forward to help put these families together and get them where they were trying to go.
Is it the case that the children often have representation, but the parents are fending for themselves?
Yeah, to a certain extent, there are some agencies that have funding or contracts to represent the children, and then there are some parents who are represented, and there are many, many parents who are not represented and who have separate cases. And this is a particular concern because these parents have been moved around the country. They may have been originally detained in Texas and then taken to another state and then brought here to New York, and there's no one to tell them why this is happening or why they're sitting in a cell and if they're going to be reunified the next day or never or next week.
And what do you think will happen then? I mean, we are talking about nearly 2,500 children. Do you think they will be reunited?
I think that some families will be reunited, and I think that the government has made such a disaster of the situation that some of these families are not going to be put back together today or next month, and some of them may be separated for a very long time, including the parents who have already been deported.
Are some parents having to make the decision that they may be able to give their children better lives by living separately if they go back, but the children can stay in the States?
Yes, that's exactly right. And it's the government that's put them in this terrible position by separating them in the first place so that their cases are now two separate cases. And so some people have already been removed and are going to choose or have already chosen to waive reunification so that their children, if there's somewhere safe for them to stay in the U.S., can stay and have their own cases move forward separately. And I think it's heartbreaking that they've had to make that decision, but I think as a parent you understand why they might. And other people hopefully will be back with their children and their cases will come back together and they'll be able to move forward and apply for asylum.
I know a lot of our viewers are following this story very closely and have been for months. Andrea, thank you for joining us.